Morning turfers. It's the start of a new round today. Just walking down to the Pit and Dreek burn. I'm just watching the app to see the reset. Taking the zone. New round 7, 6, 5, 8. Oh, it's dodgy ones to go. 1, go. It's gonna kind of loop here. So the new round should be starting. So all the zones should be changing on the app. Well, my points have gone to 0. Everything's looking yellow now. Zones and PPH hasn't reset yet. Can take a wee while. But I've taken this zone twice this morning, so it must have reset. Well, there we go. I've got 1 point. 44 zones still. I'm going to come out of the app and go back in again.
Taking zone.
I'm taking the zone for the 3rd time now. Zone's down to 15, so it is reducing. Ten zones now. Right, it'll sort itself out. So, heading down to Newbattle. I suppose I could do the local zones, but I'd rather go into the countryside rather than tramp along tarmac streets. So we'll head down and get zone Peacock's Beard. Right, we're in Peacock's Beard now. Eventually got that last zone. And I had the crown for the most zones. All but 5 seconds worth, but I was minor royalty for a while. It's about the only way I'm going to get that one. So we're just taking the zone. Oh, there we go. So that's me got 2 zones, 3 PPH points and 455 points. Oh, I've got the crown again. 2 zones. Don't think that'll last long. But if you can see the crown. It's gone. Onwards. Zone Stonegate. 3rd of the morning. Now we're going to head up to Kirkbankwood. I'm going to take a kind of shortcut here. Kind of unofficial path for a change. Just walking down the main road there. A lot of traffic. Lots of SUVs. Land Rovers, BMW M5s and whatever they're called. All with 1 person in each car, single occupancy. Although to be fair, one of them did have a big dog on the passenger seat. What a wasteful world we have. Trying not to get wet here. Trying not to fall over as well. Okay, old battle zone. And a sea of yellow dots on the app. Your voices.
Zone taken.
Zone taken. I was thinking about my career or past career this morning. Lying in bed. I've had two careers. First one was about 20 years as a quantity surveyor in private practice and construction industry, and 20 years in IT support. A few other things in between or during. Used to bake bread in the supermarket once when I was unemployed. Once I tried to set up a wee business making embroidery kits of all things. And I also stocked the shelves of bread when I was doing my IT qualifications. I was in the supermarket as well. One thing that always stands out to me though, in IT, I never really confident I knew what I was doing. It was forever changing, and you didn't always get a lot of training. Hi there.
Darcy.
Hello. No, I didn't get a lot of training sometimes. I couldn't expect you to know it all. And half the time it was trial and error, and trying to look as if you knew what you were doing, but you didn't. Quantity surveying, I knew what I was doing. I knew buildings inside and out. I could value it, I could measure it, quantify it, deal with tradesmen, deal with architects, deal with engineers, deal with other surveyors. Even the public sometimes. However, the construction industry goes up and down in phases of boom and bust. So you go a few years and then plenty of work and then no work. And at one point I was unemployed, 3 times in 5 years. And that's when I retrained. But it's all turned out okay. Here I am, retired at 60. Well, I've got 4 zones now, 926 points. Must say, one thing I find with the app on the reset is I have trouble distinguishing between the yellow neutral zones and the bright green zones that I've taken. I really have to look closely. I often wonder if it would be better if the neutral zones were blue, but it's not my decision. Maybe just my eyesight, which isn't very good anyway, hence the speckies. Another zone, neutral, no, recent battle, another neutral.
Zone taken.
So that's me got my 5 a day. And enjoying my walk. I mentioned eyesight a minute ago. I've worn glasses for 53 years, since primary school. Which, to be honest, was a bit of a nightmare. You know what children are like. Specky 4 eyes. I'm sure I punched somebody at one time. They stopped calling me it right enough. Best pals after that. And anyway, some bright spark came up with a new nickname. Joe 90. because it was the cartoon little puppet thing that was on the telly. Suddenly it was cool. I was Joe 90. Happy with that. Anything was better than Specky and Specky 4 Eyes. I remember going back to Selkirk years later, 20 years later. The guy Martin I met. Morning Joe. He even remembered the nickname. It's funny how you think back as you get older. Very weird. Maybe because you've got less forward to look back forward to. Although I'm aiming for 100. That's when I'm going to die, when I'm 100. I aim to be out on my fat bike in the hills, and I'm going to just die while I'm cycling across the hills, so that they have to get the mountain rescue out to find me, so I can get in the news. Turfer recovered from mountain top while turfing on fat bike. Good to have an aim. No point thinking you've got less, so aim for the maximum.
Zone taken.
Another zone, Newbattle, another neutral. Oh, up to 1396 points. 6 zones, 7 pph, wonderful. Not far to go to 1,000,000. On foot today, as you can probably tell. Mainly because my back is aching again. Usually hangs around for a few days, but will go away eventually. Then I can get back out on the bike or the kick scooter. And then I'll overdo it and then I have a sore back again. It's just a case of managing it, really. Got a bit of a headache as well. Post-migraine. Post-migraine malaise it's known as. You feel sort of nauseous and dizzy and a headache. Although I don't get the nasty migraine headache anymore. That's a killer. I get the aura, which is like flashing lights in your centre of your vision. It spreads out and then disappears, and then you get hit with a headache. And that migraine headache is akin to, imagine banging your head on the corner of a cupboard door. That intense pain lasting 6 hours. And if you move your head, it's worse. But I don't get that, which is not so bad now. First one was mental. So, the joys of being a human. Just spotted a brick, I'm afraid. I'm going to have a look. It's a White Hill. From White Hill, Colliery and Rosewell. I can just about tell you that from the colour anyway. In Newbattle Woods now. A lot of old trees. Which is quite a good clue that the land would have been associated with a big house. In this case, Newbattle Abbey, which dates back 1,000 years. Had one of the first coal mines in Scotland. Taking zone. Popular place for walking as well.
Zone taken.
A couple of men there in front of me a minute ago. Sort of snuck into the wood, into a very secluded area. Looked highly suspicious to me. But everyone to their own. There's a deer running in the wood there. A lot of people about, so it looks slightly panicked. Anyway, I just switched the camera on just in case it comes this way. Because if you stand still, it'll quite likely come right past you. Wind's behind me, so I've blown the scent the wrong way. I once came across a deer at White Craigs on the beach, and it was kind of stuck at this fence, and it run back and forward inches from me. I could have grabbed it. And it was kind of confused and trapped, I think, with that fence. Big green one for Archerfield. Can't see the deer. Of course, it'll probably just appear as soon as I switch the camera off. And that's the zone on the bridge taken. Just heading up to the Abbey now, get the zone in the garden there. Just want to tell you a wee bit of story here. I was cycling along here and I met this elderly woman on her bike and she was soaking wet. So I stopped to see if she was okay. And it turns that she'd come down from the Abbey, forgot she had toe clips on, tried and braked, and she tumbled head first, attached to the bike, 6 feet down into the river. Fortunately, the river wasn't too deep and she missed the rocks by inches and somebody had helped her out, so she was a lucky lady. Another few inches, if she'd hit those rocks, been knocked out, she'd have drowned. So, toe clips, eh? You need to be careful. Anyway, just a wee story. Onwards.
Taking zone.
So here we are, Newbattle Abbey. Nice little house behind me.
Zone taken.
And a zone, Battle Abbey. Taken 8 zones, 1840 points. So, onwards. Well, I'm just about to take some images of the Abbey there. The camera wouldn't work. Had to take it to bits, pull the battery, switch it on again. It's done that a few times. Don't know why. I'll have to Google it. I always like to take a few sort of still videos so I can use them as a thumbnail for the video, I suppose you'd call it, rather than you see my pretty face all the time. It also gives you more of a clue what the video's about if you show the location. Similar, the same with the kelpies I did. Post up a thumbnail of the kelpies so you kind of know what it's about. So we're just going to head up through the wood now, across the wee bridge, and head for Lady Lothian Walk. And apologies if I'm rabbiting on about the same stuff each time, because I don't keep a note and I can't remember what I've talked about and what I haven't. Although I think I've actually said that exact thing a few times. Oh dear. Old age. On then. Came across something about turf I didn't know this morning. FTT, first to take, as in first to take a new zone. It's never been taken before, a virgin zone. There's even a top list of the turfers who've taken the most first time takes. I suppose it's something you could specialise in doing. Although you probably wouldn't get many zones these days. All the new rules about creating zones in Scotland and whatnot. Apparently we've got more zones per turfer than Sweden. Don't see why it makes much difference how many zones there are. Just create thousands of them, it doesn't matter. Flood the entire world with zones. Well, there's maybe what, 10 or 12,000 zones in Scotland. Imagine if there was 500,000. A zone every 250 metres. Would it spoil it, do you think? Would it make it better? I don't know. Probably not going to happen, so. Unless we take the human out of it, come up with an AI program from the Matrix that creates them all for us, following all the safety parameters and whatnot. That's something I'd like to, well, I was going to volunteer at one time, but other things to do. It'd be useful to know just what all goes into creating a zone. You know, somebody posted a page or something, or a video, just so that we can see how much hard work's involved and what the zone makers have to do and how much time it takes. Might encourage or discourage even people from helping out, offering their services, going through the training. Maybe I should ask again and put myself forward.
Taking zone.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hiya. So here we are, Zone Mary,
Zone
head of the
taken.
Mary barn. Taken. Interesting to note here that the culvert is collapsing. Slowly working its way across the path, so you come along here one night and there'll be a gap. So just watch out. Probably be a long time before anybody repairs it. Well, another zone, equinox zone, next to the steps where I fell on my butt the last time I did a little video here. I shall endeavour not to do the same again. I suppose it's less difficult to trip when you're going up the steps. You can't really fall on your butt, I suppose, but you could do a nose plant, I suppose. I hope you all didn't laugh at the last one. Catherine did. But then again, your wives, they tend to do that, don't they? Right, Lady Lothian walk now. The trouble with a turfing blog is there's not a lot to talk about regarding the turf zones. You take the zone and you move on. What do you say about it? Oh, there's a tree. Oh, there's another tree. Oh, there's another tree. Or there's an abandoned car and there's some druggies in the corner of the park. I don't know. Maybe that's why there's not many turf blog videos. I'll tell you how I met Catherine, my wife. Chucky Muffin, turfer. It all started way back in Selkirk at a party. And the party was hosted by Happy Hippie, Sheila, my girlfriend at the time. And I met Catherine there, shy little girl who was too shy to talk back to me. Oh, I think I'm in the zone. Yep, I'm in the zone. Fat Bike Path, my favourite zone. Created after I wrote about it in the blog. So yeah, so I met Catherine there. And then sometime later, wasn't seeing Sheila anymore. I was working in Saudi Arabia as a surveyor. I was seconded to a chap called Henry Hood from Edinburgh, who was working for a company, AEG Canis, a German firm, to build 2 power stations. One in a place called Layla and another place called Al Juba. I was based in Riyadh. Anyway, I wrote to Catherine, we kind of corresponded. I met her when we got back, when I finished my stint. Met her at Waverley Market, and was it Prince's, whatever it's called in Edinburgh. Nearly missed her actually. But I was at the top of this escalator and she was at the bottom, and we just happened to meet each other. Otherwise it was a no-go. Anyway, so what did we do? We went to the pictures to see James Bond. We went for a meal at the Niddry Inn in Long Niddry. Then we had a wander in Holyrood Park. And that was that. Well, we went to Dumfries and Galloway for a naughty weekend, which wasn't really naughty. And eventually we got married. Like a fairy tale, eh? Nothing to do with turfing, except I suppose I talked about turfers. So we're just approaching the zone now. There we go. And this will probably be me for the morning. My back's niggling at me again. I'll go home and get some lunch. There we go. So, 14 zones, 15 zones, 3,500 points. Happy with that. Although I'm not really in it for points and zones these days. As long as I get my 5 a day. 34 days, 33 days to go and get my daily 365. Which poses the question, what to do after that? As Spike Milligan said, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? I'm thinking of starting afresh actually. I just wonder, I'll just stop here, I'll not quite go down the road, it's too noisy. Might start afresh. Start from zero. Create a new turf name. Maybe come up with a theme to follow. Maybe only use the kick scooter, maybe only walk, only cycle. Only take zones once. Need to give it some thought though. We shall see. Got to make that decision. That's a big one to start again. But on the plus side, you start taking all your medals again. And more things to blog about. But maybe do it differently. I think that's the main thing. Do it differently this time. Do it only at night. You know? I don't know. The nocturnal turfer. Anyway, suggestions on a postcard or contact form to Planet Gary. And that's me for today, I think. Just going to head down the road, get home, have some lunch. Got a Melton Mulberry pie to look forward to. Anyway, catch you later. Bye for now.